It is 7:14. Former MTV star and professional skateboarder Brandon Novak is now speaking out about his battle with a heroin addiction and his road to recovery. This morning, the Baltimore native and his mom, Pat, they are sitting next to us here to share your story and how there can be light at the end of all of this. Thank you so much for coming in. We appreciate your time this morning.
Thanks for having me.
You know, we've seen you all over TV in many different aspects, whether you're skating or on MTV. How did you know that you had a problem? When did this come into your life?
You know, I picked up the first drink at 7, and by the age of 16, I was a full-blown heroin addict.
So when we were watching you were using?
Yeah, the progression had taken place, and by the age of 35, I walked into my 13th inpatient treatment center. My mother had bought me a plot. People had taken life insurance policies out on me. I was on life support for 7 days.
Oh my gosh.
You know?
Did you know you had a problem? When was it that you thought, this isn't me, I gotta change?
When I hit a maturity age, you know what I mean? I went from knowing everything to realizing that the one thing that I did know is that I had no idea, and that my very best thinking had got me there. And the fact that I was very successful in my own right actually hurt me as opposed to help me.
Because you kept doing great things.
Yeah, I was accomplishing things in things in life that people thought was successful.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Miss Pat, I can't even imagine, knowing your son was fighting this. What's going through your mind at that time? What were you thinking?
It was terrible. It was really a nightmare. I had no idea what to say, think, or do. But we did manage to get through it because I never ever gave up hope, ever, and I never got discouraged.
I think that's huge because a lot of people, after you go to so many inpatient things, you think maybe this isn't just going to take for you.
Right.
As a parent, what advice do you have? We have a lot of people here in Baltimore who are fighting heroin right now. What do you say to them?
Yes, we do. To stick with your son, your daughter, your husband, your wife, your whatever. Don't ever give up on them. That's the most important thing, to stick with them. I did for a lot of years. And one day my priest told me at church, it was after Mass, and I was sitting in the pew crying, and he came up and he said, "Is it Brandon again, Pat?" I said, "Yes, it is, Father Mike." I said, "I wish God would either cure him or kill me. I can't take anymore."
Oh, Pat.
And he screamed at me and said, "Don't you ever say that. God has plans for him, and you don't know what they are."
And look at you.
Yeah,
I mean, hearing this, did you know that this was what you were doing was impacting so many others?
No, I didn't. But honestly, my defects have become my biggest assets with the slightest change of perception.
Yeah.
Because my mentality would create the reality for which I lived in. And when I got sober, they said, change your perception, change your world.
Oh. How long have you been sober now?
3 years. And
congratulations.
Now, yeah, it's statistics state, theoretical evidence dictates that I am to be high or dead right now. The fact I'm not is A, miraculous, equaling miracle, and B, it defies logic. So I use who I was prior to sobriety to get through to people now that, like me, that were using, that have that big wall up there, that aren't open and receptive to help, because they know that I was that real deal addict that was supposed to die with a needle in his arm.
Maybe maybe this is the purpose that was being spoke of, because people looking at you, you have a lot of fans and followers, and seeing that you've overcome this. Is it hard? What is life like now that you are clean?
Well, the cool thing is I give my personal phone number out and people call me for help.
It's
and
incredible.
They say, "Novak, if you can get clean, there's no reason why I can't. Can you help me?" So I firmly believe I went through what I went through to do what I'm doing now, and it's somewhat like my calling.
I think it's amazing. And now you've got a book out to help everyone too.
So
it's called
Dream Seller. This is the revised first version with the new cover, new ending, 2 bonus chapters. I have the first ever addiction graphic novel coming out. I have 3 more books coming out, and I work in the drug and treatment field for a facility called Banyan Treatment Center. We're nationwide: Pennsylvania, Chicago, Boston, and Florida.
You're doing your calling here.
Yeah.
It's always been fun watching you. As a Baltimore native, we want to see people do great things, but what you're doing now, this is your greatest work. We're proud of what you're doing. Good luck.
Thank you so much. And if you need help, call me. 610-635-9092. That's my personal number.
His phone number right there. Or
you can just do that one. 610-546-2608. Call me.
He's going to walk you through this. The light at the end of the tunnel here.